I want to tell you something about my father, not what he was, when it cost me to love him. I was 11 the first time I brought something to him and had nowhere to put it when I left. Something had happened at school, the kind of thing that sits in your stomach all day, the kind of thing that makes the hours move slowly because you are waiting, just waiting, for the evening, for home, for him. I told myself all the way back on the bus, tell Dad. I don't know why I believed it would help, I just did. The way children believe things before the world has had enough time to teach them not to. He was at the table when I came in, still in his work clothes, eating the food my mother had left covered for him. I sat down across from him. I started talking. I told him what happened, all of it. The way it felt. The way I couldn't stop thinking about it. He was looking at his food. He nodded once. He said, "You'll be fine," and went back to eating. I sat there for a moment, holding this thing I had carried all the way home with nowhere to put it. I took it back upstairs with me. I sat on my bed and I held it alone, the way I would learn over the years to hold everything alone. I told myself he was tired. He worked. God, he worked 6 days a week, sometimes 7. Left before I was awake. Came home after we had eaten. We left a plate for him every night. He ate alone at the kitchen table, in the quiet of a house that had already finished its day. I used to stand at the top of the stairs sometimes and watch the light under the kitchen door, just to know he was in there. Back then, that was enough. I told myself that was enough. I was 14 the first time I tried deliberately not to ask for something, not to report something, just to reach him. It was a Sunday evening. He was in his chair by the window, the newspaper across his knee, not reading it, just sitting, which was unusual enough that I stood in the doorway for almost a full minute before I found the courage to go in. I sat down across from him and I asked, "How are you, Dad?" He looked up, the way a man looks when a sentence doesn't quite make sense to him. Like I had said something in a language you recognized as language, but could not locate the meaning of. Then he picked up the newspaper. He said, "Did you finish your homework?" I had. I told him I had. He nodded, and that was the whole of it. I went back upstairs. I lay in the dark, and something happened in that room that I didn't understand until years later. I made a decision. I didn't know I was making it. I didn't feel it happen, but somewhere in the dark between one breath and the next, I decided to stop asking, not in anger, not even in sadness, just the quiet closing of a door that had been opened too many times to nothing. I stopped asking, and he never knew the door had closed. He was a good man. I need you to understand that before I tell you the rest. He never missed a payment, not one. School fees, electricity, the rent that went up every 2 years while his salary didn't. He was never late, never short, never. Not once in my entire childhood. The reason we went without anything, and we went without everything. Not food, not shelter, not safety, the other things. The things that don't appear on any bill would cost more than anything he ever paid. There was a look my mother got sometimes, not when she was angry, not when anything was wrong, just sometimes. In the middle of an ordinary evening, when he walked past without noticing she was there. A look like she was remembering something she had decided a long time ago not to want anymore. I was 15 when I asked her about it. I said, "Mom, is Dad happy?" She folded the thing she was folding, set it down. She said, "Your father loves this family very much," which wasn't what I asked, but I was 15, and I didn't know yet that sometimes an answer that doesn't fit the question is still the truest thing a person can give you. He drove me to university when I was 18, 4 hours, just the two of us. I want you to understand what I was feeling. Sitting in that passenger seat, I was not calm. I was not at peace with who he was. I was 18 years old and I was sitting next to my father for 4 hours with the whole of our unfinished life between us. And I was waiting.
I was waiting so hard I could feel it in my chest for something. I didn't even know what, some version of the conversation. We had never managed to have the radio played. He talked about the traffic. He talked about the weather. He pointed out a bridge they had built 2 years ago, but it cut the journey by 20 minutes. I sat with my hands in my lap. I watched the road, and somewhere around the 3rd hour, quiet, without drama, I stopped waiting. Something I had been carrying since I was 11 set itself down. Not because I had accepted it, because I was tired. He carried my bags up to my room, 3rd floor. He didn't complain. He never complained. He checked the window latch, the radiator, pressed on the mattress with one hand, checking things, making sure everything was sound. And when he stood at the door, he put out his hand. I looked at it for a moment, then I shook it. My own father. 18 years, a handshake. He walked back to the car. I stood at the window. I watched until I couldn't see it anymore. And I want to tell you what I felt, not what I understand now, not what I know looking back. What I felt at 18, standing at that window. Like something had just ended that I had not been given the chance to fight for. The years moved the way years do when you have stopped expecting them to deliver anything. I graduated. I got a job. I called home every Sunday. He'd answer. We'd talk about the traffic, the weather, whether the roof needed looking at. I'd ask how he was. He'd say, fine, getting on with it. And I'd say that was good, and we'd hang up one Sunday. I was 29, sitting in my kitchen after the call. I put the phone down and I sat very still for a long time, and I thought, this is what it is. This is what it is going to be. Not angry, just the specific grief of a person who has finally understood that the thing they were waiting for is not coming. He had a heart attack when he was 67. He survived it. But something shifted after. Something in the architecture of him. He got smaller, not thin, just smaller. Like something that had been holding him upright had quietly stopped. I drove home the weekend after he came out of hospital. My mother met me at the door. She said, he's in the sitting room. Then she added, quietly, like she was telling me something she wasn't sure I was ready for. He asked for you. 3 words that I had to stop right there in the doorway, because in 34 years, my father had never once asked for anything. He had provided everything. He had fixed everything. He had shown up for everything, but he had never, and not once, asked. He asked for you. He was sitting in his armchair. The television was off. He was just sitting there, hands in his lap, looking at the wall, and I thought, in 34 years, I had never once seen my father. Sit in a room with nothing to do. There was always something, a leaking tap, a shelf that needed anchoring, something that wanted his hands. But that afternoon, just a man in a room where there was nothing to fix. I pulled a chair close. He looked at me. Is it, you came? Like he hadn't been sure I would. We talked that afternoon more than we had in 34 years combined about his father. About the village he grew up in, about a teacher who believed in him once and what that had meant. How he had thought about it all these years later. And somewhere in the middle of it, I felt something move through me that I did not have a name for. He had stories, a whole life of them, and I had never once asked, and he had never once offered, and we had sat across from each other for 34 years, like 2 people standing on opposite sides of a wall. Neither of them knew how to climb. We had 2 more years, good years. I called more, visited more, sat in that room more. He never said, I'm sorry I was so far away from you. I never said, I needed more from you than you knew how to give. We didn't have those words, but we had the chair I pulled close and the tea my mother made that we never drank until it went cold because we were too busy talking. We had that. And I told myself it was enough because by then, I had spent a lifetime telling myself things were enough. He died on a Sunday morning in February. He had been unwell for a week, nothing dramatic, just tired. He said he was tired. I had planned to come the following weekend at the funeral. My mother stood very straight. and shook the hands of people she barely knew. She said he was a good man. She said it to every single person. He was a good man. He was a good man. Afterward, when everyone had gone, she sat at the kitchen table. I sat across from her. She looked at her hands for a long time, and she said, "He was so proud of you." I couldn't speak. He told everyone at work at the shops wherever you went. He'd say, "That's my son," and then he'd tell them everything. I looked at her. He never told me. She was quiet. I know. Just that I know when I sat there with the 11-year-old who carried something to the dinner table and had nowhere to put it. With the 14-year-old who lay in the dark and closed the door he never reopened. With the 18-year-old at the window, watching a car disappear. All of them sitting with me at that kitchen table. All of them hearing the same thing. He told everyone except you. I have a child of my own now. Last week she brought me a drawing, crayon on the back of an envelope, and she said, "I made this for you, Daddy." I put down everything I was holding. I sat on the floor. I looked at her, really looked. And I said, "This is the best thing anyone has ever given me, because my father taught me something he never said. He taught me what it costs a child to reach for a parent and feel nothing come back. He taught me without knowing he was teaching, the way his father taught him, the way his father's father taught his father. A long line of men who loved completely and showed it in the only language they had, and somewhere in that line, someone has to learn a different language. I am trying, not perfectly, but I am trying with every afternoon on the floor, with every drawing on the back of an envelope, with every time I put down what I am holding and look at her. The way I needed someone to look at me when I was 11. And that's something I couldn't carry alone. I don't. I don't know if my father knew what those moments cost me. The dinner table, the dark bedroom, the handshake, the Sunday calls. I don't know if he carried them too. I hope he didn't. I hope he died not knowing that every time he gave me "you'll be fine," I walked back upstairs still holding everything I had brought to him. Because if he knew, if he sat alone in that kitchen, under that light, eating his plate in the quiet and knew, then we were both carrying it. All those years on opposite sides of the same wall. And neither of us ever found the door.